He's a 10, but he has pronouns in his Instagram bio. 0. Why do you say that?
Liberal men, I don't think they actually exist. I think all liberal men are gay. There's no straight liberal men.
Before we get into a clinical diagnosis, I think it's important that Dr. Hafer and I show you a few images. Go ahead. Patriotism is racism. How does this make you feel? Sexism. Corporate greed. It's a bird. It's a bird. Everything's gonna be just okay. Oh my God! Easy. Here. Hold on. Breaths.
This will guarantee 100% prognosis. This is the most difficult card you're going to see.
I know you might consider some of our medical practices unorthodox.
That video does not get old. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. I'm Ace. Tonight, we're going to go through the warning signs going off to the entire nation in Virginia. What happens when you vote Democrat? When you actually believe them that they're moderate? Because in the first week, they are destroying their entire state. And I have the craziest stuff to show you about what's going on in Virginia. And it's wild. These people are not messing around, and it should serve as a stark reminder. I do not care how mad or upset you are with Donald Trump or worried that he's not doing enough. If you let these people back in because you sit out the midterms, you're going to get what you deserve because it is crazy. There's no such thing as a moderate Democrat. And we're going to go through it because, oh my God. On top of that, later in the show, we'll talk about Tom Homan busting up Minnesota, getting there, getting it all back in order, and then a lot of other quick things to hit on before the weekend that Trump and the government is got going on. So listen, you're here. You're going to hear it all. How to, break it down. What's really going on in the world? That's what I do. So welcome. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Glad to have you guys here. Let me say hey to the chat and we will get into it. Vince, numero uno tonight, buddy. When was the last time you were numero uno? It's been a while, huh, bud? So I got that going with me, which is nice. What movie is that? I'm going to have to think about this. Cindy Lou, what's going on? See a Human. Scott Volkovich, what's up? Just Mike, Proud Republican, what's going on? Frank Anastasio, AZ Tropic over there on Rumble, representing Pat M. Barefoot by DC, present and accounted for Miami, what's going on? Brian's here. Alice Fordham, what's going on? Nick Majors and Fro Girl. Hey, friends. Hey, you guys. Love it. Glad to see you guys. Welcome. A little earlier tonight, and it's nice. It's nice. It feels good. All right, you guys ready for this? Because this is wild. I know we started talking about this the other day. Now that's an intro, says Ryan. What's up, buddy? We started talking about this a little bit the other day, but it's just getting worse. So let's get right into it. Virginians are freaking out that they didn't vote for this, except they did because they were duped by Democrats as usual. And these are not your father's Democrats, your mother's Democrats. These are the crazies that now run the party. And anyways, let's get into the story.
Here's a list of the many tax increases and proposals Democrats in Virginia are considering passing. They include additional local sales tax in all Virginia counties and cities, new personal property tax on electric leaf blowers and electric landscaping equipment, large employer tax, gun and ammunition tax, new income tax brackets, a delivery tax. This would hit you if you make an order on Amazon, Uber Eats, or an order that includes UPS, FedEx delivery, etc. here in Northern Virginia. There's also a tax they're looking at for events, concerts, an investment income tax, storage facility tax, gym membership tax, dog walking tax, dog grooming, tax, counseling tax, digital personal property tax, new car taxes and highway use fees, an increase in the hotel tax here in Arlington, statewide speed cameras. Now, these aren't taxes, but they would include more fines for some drivers, dry cleaning tax, home repair tax, and a vehicle repair tax.
They should really be listening to their constituents a lot more, because these tax increases are going to hurt those who are struggling the most.
Republicans are blasting Virginia Democrats' tax proposals, asking what happened to all their talk about affordability.
They did campaign on affordability, and right now, right out of the gate, that's been the last.
Guys. These people are insane. Right away, dog walking tax. I mean, just how does that one work? I mean, I understand it's probably dog walking business, but for real, I mean, or are they going to tax you because you're walking your dog in the park and they want to? I don't know. These things are insane. It's crazy. Delivery tax. You're going to have to be taxed now for Uber, Amazon. This is one of the craziest things I've ever seen, and it's already shocking their peeps. Here's a Virginia chick talking about how crazy things are getting already. Oh,
out of
sorry.
Virginia.
Let me try that again.
I just got my energy bill for the month. Dominion Energy out of Virginia. My bill has tripled. Like, I usually pay about $200, you know, on a regular, $300 on a high note. $621. That's more than my car payment. What?
I mean, I try to, you know, we do our best to tell you guys what's going to happen when you vote these people in. I mean, I'm sure some of that tax or that energy was because of it being colder, but come on, triple. I've never personally seen my energy bill triple in a month before. No matter what I'm doing, that's wild. So they come in, but that's not the only thing. That's just like what Democrats do, right? They tax every single thing. They want to tax us into oblivion, make us weak, make us their slaves. But I mean, come on, people, you get what you pay for. You get what you vote for, I should say. And with the midterms coming up later this year, we need to remind everybody, this is what they do. So many people in the fall, Virginians, New Jersey, they've all these special elections, they voted for Democrats thinking, oh, well, Trump's been a little too extreme, or we're just going to sit this one out because we don't think he's doing enough. Do you see what happens? I just thought of The Big Lebowski. Do you see what happens, Larry? Do you see what happens when you blur a stranger in the blur? I can't repeat it on YouTube, but well, I could. It's just not who I am. But this is what happens. And look right here. Introduced a bill, eliminate mandatory minimum sentencing for rape, manslaughter, assaulting a law enforcement officer, possession, distribution of child pornography, and repeat violent felonies. Don't believe me? Here's the bill right here. House Bill 863. Go Google it. It's all here, folks. It's all here. Here's another one. While the entire country focuses on Minneapolis for the next 48 hours, Democrats of Virginia passed a bill out of committee that allows government bureaucrats to receive unlimited taxpayer funding to buy a house. Housing for local employees. Huh. Oh, that's nice. You guys want to get money for your house? $25,000, huh? I mean, that's what you want your taxpayers to go to? Government employees getting houses? Oh, awesome. How about this? Bans immigration laws from being enforced within 40 feet of a polling place. Really? Oh, that's nice. No immigration laws when it's time to vote? Oh, but illegals don't vote, guys. We don't want illegals to vote. Uh-huh. Yeah. So how does this make sense? I mean, What else is there to say? I mean, listen, I reposted some of these and just, saying like, in Virginia, you're learning that you never go full retard. And the only way you vote Democrat anymore is if you've gone full retard. You're never going to get what you want unless you're crazy. Crazy people will get what they want. But you're not going to get what the moderates, I should say, the people in the middle. If you're mad at Trump and you think voting Democrat gets you sanity, it doesn't. It gets you insanity. It gets you everything you're mad at Trump about, but then policies. But they'll be maybe a little nicer to you on TV. Have you seen Spamberger? She looks like she hits about 60 volumes a day before she gets out of bed. I just think it's nice to take care of the people. I would never do anything to harm you. Oh, those are the kind of people you want to trust, aren't they? I mean, let's keep going. This stuff is shocking. And that's why I thought tonight we need to do this video. We need to get this out there, because if we don't talk about this stuff, they're going to sneak their way in again. There's all this talk in the midterms. People are upset. Trump is not, well, where's my arrests? Okay. Oh, too much foreign policy. Why is things not cheaper yet? Okay. He's not king. The Republicans are dumb. We can all agree on those things, right? But are things better? Are they trending in the right direction? Well, you'd have to be a moron to say no. An absolute moron. Oh, I don't like ICE. They seem mean. Okay, sorry. They might be a little mean sometimes. It's hard to do your job when you have crazy lefties trying to bite off your finger or get up in your face or try to run you over with cars. I don't know. Call me crazy, but sometimes that makes somebody a little grumpy. I don't know. That's just me. But okay. Get past all that and you get to the point where you're like, maybe I just won't vote. Well, this could be America in 2028. And I'm telling you, if there's a Democrat House and Senate with, God forbid, say President Newsom or President Buttplug or President, Kamala Boxwine Harris, if any of them, God forbid, made it in, and they had the House and Senate, just like what happened in Virginia, this would be America within 3 months. They move a little slower than state legislatures, but not much, because Democrats get it done. They don't mess around, especially now that they've been pushed to the edge. All right. You get pushed to the edge, and that's when that's when the Democrats get nasty. And that's fully what I'm expecting to see if we ever see them in again before the entire party's reformed, which will take at least another decade of getting their butts whooped. But I'm going to consider it a gift. I'm going to consider it a gift that a purple state that just had a fairly decent Republican governor in Youngkin did a pretty good job for 4 years. I'm going to consider it a blessing that their state is the ones who decide to take the hit for the team and say, yeah, we'll take our risk with the Democrats so we can show the world how crazy they are. Look at this. Democrats Virginia introduced a bill that discriminates against white men in government contracting. For discretionary contracts under $100,000, white men are barred from even being considered unless there's no other competition. So if the white guy with his company shows up and is fantastic, perfect 5-star rating on Google, 100,000 reviews, nobody's ever had a bad thing to say about him. But then the Hispanic guy shows up with, his 1975 Datsun and 5 illegals in the back of the truck, and is like, hey man, I do that contract for you. And they'll be like, well, a white guy, we can't even consider him, so you win the contract. Do you understand how retarded this? I'm sorry, I'm going to say retarded a lot tonight. I hope that's okay with you guys. You guys know what I mean by it. I'm not trying to be rude here. But you get what I mean here. Mara Lou with the 5 subscriptions to American Fire. Thank you, Mara Lou. That is very generous of you up over there on Rumble. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mara Lou. I appreciate the support. Like when you make laws like this, the consequences are so far downstream from what they're thinking, even though they just do it anyways, because they're okay with completely demoralizing people and throwing chaos to the wind, because all they care about is power. Democrats on purpose create more and more problems so they can be the only solution. They are narcissistic anarchists in a way, but not anarchists in like the get rid of government way, in the chaos causing way. I know that's not the true definition of anarchist, but it's what a lot of people think of when they think of anarchy. They love chaos. They love chaos because it keeps them in power, and they want to keep promoting chaos. But look at this. This bill allows agencies to award contracts to women or minority-owned firms that are 5% more expensive than a bid from a business owned by a white man. It's like insane. So they're literally putting it into the law that you will get paid more. The tax dollars of their state, their citizens of the state, will be used more expensively just to make sure white men don't get those jobs. I mean, that's crazy. Virginia's right next door to me. I've been through Virginia. It's a beautiful state. I'm in North Carolina. To think that this crazy is right there. I left California. I didn't want to bring it with me. I didn't want it coming over here. And Virginia is not California. The people of Virginia are not Californians. Some are. They have a lot of government people there. And that's what's turning it so far left. But it's a moderate state. They are, they're still part of the Bible Belt, for God's sake. Like a lot of Virginians are great people. A lot of the Democrats there are moderate, old school Democrats, but they done gone full retard because not enough people have woken up yet. You're right, Jeff. It's not anything new. The problem is some people still believe a moderate Democrat exists. And I'm here to tell you they don't. There's one moderate Democrat now in the entire government. His name's John Fetterman. And you know how he became moderate? He had a freaking stroke. God had to strike his brain and shut off the oxygen to his brain, put him through like 6 months of like drooling all over himself, even during his debate. You guys ever see the debate of Fetterman? When he was on a stroke, it was pathetic. And Oz still couldn't beat him. But the dude had to have a stroke to get a common sense. And so he's the only moderate Democrat left. That's it in all of government everywhere. Don't believe the lies. You cannot vote for these people, which means we have 2 choices. And our only choices now, as far as I'm concerned, if you're a voter right now, your only time where you have a choice to vote that's not going to destroy the nation is in Republican primaries. You get to vote for the MAGA candidate, or you get to vote for the Rhino, or the old school Republican, establishment Republican. That's it. That's our choices now. Because even the establishment, old school Rhino Republicans are not this crazy. Never. They never have been. Mitt Romney, this would not happen on Mitt Romney's watch, even though I can't stand the man, But let's keep going. Look at this. Look at this. This is we're not even going to go through this whole thing. This is all that they've introduced. But let's knock out a couple of them. Let's just hit some random crazy stuff coming up. Ban future attempts to clean up voter rolls. Make it illegal for state agencies distributing federal dollars to NGOs to investigate if they're engaged in fraud. So federal dollars in Virginia, they will make it illegal for anybody in the state to see if those dollars are being used for fraud. How does this even make sense? Illegal to hand count ballots. Allow mail-in ballots to be counted 1 week after election day. Absentee. This is, I mean, they did gerrymander the state 10-1 or 9-2. State level equivalent of the VRA Voter Rights Act. Eliminates. By the way, they're implementing this now with Republicans who've already won state seats, and they will lose their seats even without an election. These people are crazy. It just keeps going on. This is moderate, guys. Taxpayer funding for transgender surgeries. There you go. Teaches a leftist narrative about January 6th in public schools. Are you kidding me? Tourism tax, hotel tax. Here's all the taxes. Require a license to buy a firearm. That goes against the Second Amendment. Assault weapons ban. Oh my God. I mean, I just, this is a communist state now. And listen, anybody who says elections don't matter, wake the F up. Elections matter. This is so crazy. This is one of the quickest turnarounds a state has ever seen. Again, it was a Republican state 1 month ago. A Republican, well-run, moderate Republican state. And now this. In one election cycle. I'm telling you, like, if anybody is thinking about not voting in the midterms or voting Democrat for just to piss off Trump or anything, send them this video right now. If you know anybody, be like, hey, moron, you have my permission to use the word retard if you need to. We're all friends, right? These are your friends. Hey, retard, this is what's going to happen if you don't vote in the midterms. This is what's going to happen if you allow these people to take over our states. Ultimately, our government. I don't care how bad. If worst case for Trump, if, and this is not how I feel about this, but for the general public, moderate voter, left-leaning, let's say left-leaning moderate voter, the worst case scenario for Trump's term is he is just a regular run-of-the-mill bad president. That is your worst case scenario. Honestly, it is, because nothing he's doing, it's crazy in some ways, but it's not crazy for America. He's not forcing anything on us. Okay, he's not changing. He's changing a lot, but it's not in the way that impacts the average voter day to day, especially not from where we're at now. It's going to take a while for a lot of these changes to really change things. Economy is going to get better, whatever. Worst case scenario, he's the modern version. He's the Republican version of Jimmy Carter. That's what a Democrat could say if they had any brains at the worst case scenario. This is insanity. This is literally state government shifting stuff. Like Virginia is an entirely different state because of this one election. So elections matter. Allows out-of-state Indian tribe members to receive in-state tuition. Free public school for all illegal aliens. This is insane. Curtails homeschool and private school independence from the Virginia Department of Education. Mandates mental health screenings for all public school students. Dude, this sounds like Soviet Russia. This is crazy. Let students graduate despite failing grades. Can you see the playbook here? This is what they want to do everywhere. The moderate Democrat. This is what they want the entire U.S. to be. And they're going to ruin Virginia in 4 years by getting all this passed. They're going to completely destroy a state just like that because they just got their one election, and then they're going to want to move it to the national level. And the hope is that things get so bad, the Virginians speak out about it, that, what's going to actually save the Democrats on some of this? make them look more moderate, is that a lot of this stuff just won't hold up under the Constitution. It'll be struck down by the Supreme Court, and the federal government will go after them under Trump. And he has to. I mean, these are American citizens. Even if they're dumb enough, and they are retarded enough to vote themselves this insanity, it's Trump's duty as president to bail them out. That's just how it works. But again, most of them didn't vote for this. They didn't know. They fell into the trap. And if they get bailed out by the federal government, by the Supreme Court, a lot of them are going to never know that any of this stuff was voted on in the first place. I mean, listen, when you guys, the way I run this show, okay, is I tell you guys everything that I wish everybody would know. Okay. As somebody who's been a political junkie, political scientist for 20 plus years. Okay. This is, so I run this show to teach you guys what's really going on and to sometimes have some fun while doing it. But just by watching this show, okay, you guys are in, and this is not me tooting my own horn. This is actually more of an indictment on how poorly educated our people are in this country politically. But just by watching this show, you guys know more than 99% of Americans. That's sad. And again, that's not me saying I'm the smartest person in the world. That's just me telling you the truth that 99% of Americans won't know half of this. And so it's up to us to get this stuff going, So get this stuff out there so people know. Because if I would venture to say that in Virginia, where other than the government workers, the lefties there's not that many crazy lefties. So maybe 15% of the state. So you got 85% of the state. 85% of the state, if they saw this, they would say, what? That's not what I voted for. That's crazy. I was mad that under the Republicans, things weren't cheaper. So I thought we'd vote in Democrats, give them a try. So crazy. Yeah, Heidi, I already played it tonight. I played that clip. But, I mean, let's just go through a couple others of these. Allows localities to outlaw gas-powered leaf blowers. Jeez Louise. Renames Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. Here, let's get past all these taxes. Makes it harder to obtain a concealed carry permit. Ends qualified immunity for police. Oh, that would be great for their police. They're going to have a lot of trouble getting policemen after that. Hikes minimum wage to $15 an hour. Kills small business. Mandates all localities adopt an environmental justice plan. Oh, jeez Louise. Oh, my God. Eliminates the ability of health insurance provider to charge a premium for smokers. Hey, everybody's insurance is going up. Enjoy that. Adds an insurance mandate to cover over-the-counter condoms. My insurance will be covering that. Oh, yeah, make sure you get the large Trojans, like Gar says in Wayne's World, ribbed for her pleasure. Ew. My insurance will be covering that. That's disgusting. Mandates unconscious racial bias trainings for nurses to retain their license. Oh my God, it's like hell over there. This is a southern state. I mean, this is crazy. And here's the deal with all the election stuff they just passed in that state, unless Trump can get the Republicans to get their act together and get the SAVE Act through, Virginians are screwed because they pass these election laws. The Democrats are going to be in charge there for the next 20, 30 years, unless Republicans can get federal laws changed for the elections. This is insanity. Virginia state tax rate could rise from 5.75%, which is, that's a moderate tax rate. It's not crazy high, but it's not low, to almost 14%, to the highest in the country. They really do. They want to be California. Oh my God. We have any Virginians watching tonight? How do you guys feel about this? You getting ready to move? You come on over to North Carolina. The water's nice over here. We have an idiot Democrat governor, but we have a very strong Republican legislature that makes sure the Democrat governor doesn't get anything done. So it's pretty good over here. Yeah. Lower taxes, not nearly as crazy as this Virginia. This is insanity. Cernovich wrote this really good. A couple posts. Democrats ran Virginia as moderates immediately upon taking office, sanctuary state, raised taxes, free money for illegals, stolen Republican seats, changed the Constitution on lawfully steal seats, introduced gun laws more extreme than California's. Dang. Democrats won Virginia are going full Marxist. Tax California laws banning white men for government contracts, surveillance, tech cameras that issue tickets, internet voting. Internet voting! I didn't see that one. My God. But here's the key right here. There's no such thing as a moderate Democrat. Sound in the warning, guys. Sound in the warning. So, listen. Go into, tell your friends. I don't know what else to tell you. Save this video. Add it to your watch later, list on YouTube or something like that. Have it on standby. And just anytime somebody's like, well, Democrats aren't that bad, show them this. Show them this first 30 minutes of this video and just be like, these people ran as moderates, guys. There are no moderate Democrats anymore. And remind them they have no choice. They really don't. Vince says, running behind because cheering your son up, he broke up with his girlfriend. Oh, bummer. He found out she's a lefty. Did he break up with her or did she break up with him because he was a real man? Donna, what's going on? You're in Florida till May, but live in Virginia. You're in shock reading about Virginia. Read they might close VMI Historic Military School. Oh, man. Donna, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were in Virginia. My God. Well, there's somebody. Good luck. It's pretty crazy. Johnny says, what the hell is wrong with these people? I agree. See, Human, can you say civil rights violations? Well, yeah, some of them will be, but it's the Trump administration's already got so much else going on. I mean, they're not going to be able to clean up everything. Anyways, so crazy. All right, let's move on to something a little better. Tom Homan today in Minnesota, taking over, getting things back on track. Let's listen to a couple of clips from Tom the Man and cheer up. What's up, Lucid? Good to see you. Oh, you're good, Heidi. Let's listen to Tom breaking it down. Oh, screwed that up. Here we go.
For the people out there who don't like what ICE is doing, if you want certain laws reformed, then take it up with Congress. Again, ICE is making this up. They're enforcing laws enacted by Congress and signed by the president. The same laws have been on the books for the last 6 presidents I worked for. I started with President Reagan and ending with President Trump. Every administration, we enforce the same laws. If you don't like what ICE is doing, instead of protesting this building, go protest Congress. Tell me what changes. If you have your First Amendment rights, I support that. You have the right.
Man, there's something about Homan, I got to tell you. That dude just carries authority with him. You can feel the strength, the inner strength. He delivers it so powerfully. And, everybody was freaking out that Trump pulled back in Minnesota. I covered it all. I don't need to rehash it. But then there was a few like Glenn Beck who saw it. Who are like, oh, Democrats weren't ready for this. Well, they weren't. Because Homan is the man. he is the secret weapon when it comes to immigration. You send him in because he's had relationships with Democrats. He has the bona fides from Democrats. I mean, Obama gave him a freaking medal for his deportation efforts. The dude is just unbelievably qualified, and he's got the stones, the cojones to handle it all without freaking out. He just knows all the processes. So it was almost like, let Minnesota get riled up, let all the left try to gin up something, and then Trump was like, send in the weapon. And now they're just like, we don't know what to do with ourselves. And Homan, he's not mincing words, but he's also organizing everything with the Democrats and holding them accountable. Now, I think, Tim Walz came out today and said he's never going to run for office again. You think maybe Trump gave him a warning on that phone call? Hey, Timmy, you're done. You're done. Back off, or I will make your life miserable. Let's end this. Here's Homan going off about how the Democrats got us here in the first place.
I also want to remember the politicians are continually attacking us. Where were they the last 4 years when the number of women and children sex trafficking went all-time high? Where were they when 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl coming across the border? Where were they when women and children are dying making that journey? Where were they where over 4,000 families making that journey died, historic record? Where were they? Not a word. Now we're just trying to respond to what happened the last 4 years and keeping this country safe. And we're arresting a lot of public safety threats, take them off the streets, which make this country safer. President Trump promised to make this country safe again, and that's what we're doing.
Powerful stuff. He's really holding the room in there too. You can feel the shift. With him there now, Minnesota's the story's going to go. It's going to go away, and Democrats are not happy about it. We had all that footage come out of Preddy showing that he actually was just a violent extremist, and now we have Homan there tamping all this down, and they're pissed. Trump just took, well, I'll get to that in a minute, but by taking this out of their quiver as an arrow to shoot for the midterms, he's taken away their power to gin stuff up already. So it hasn't flipped completely to the positive side yet for the Trump administration, but it's tamped down. And now we have all this going on with the Virginia stuff. I'm telling you guys, there is so much more wisdom and control coming out of this White House than we give them credit for. It's fascinating to me how well they handle these things. And in celebration of that, here's a little video they put together that the White House shared today, put together by Dilly team, shared by the White House today.
Do you remember what it was like when the 2020 election was rigged and stolen? Do you remember all the bullshit stories people told you about how the fraudulent election would be overturned? Do you remember the symbols of tyranny when fences went up around D.C. for Joe Biden's inauguration? Do you remember watching fuel and food prices skyrocket in a matter of months? Do you remember watching our borders being invaded by a virtual army of unidentified criminals? Do you remember watching our nation get systematically destroyed for 4 years by the Joe Biden auto pen administration? Do you remember longing for the days of winning when we had Donald Trump in the White House? Do you remember thinking he was going to die when the bullet aimed at his brain only grazed his ear? Do you remember rejoicing after witnessing the miracle that saved his life? Do you remember celebrating the epic landslide victory in November of 2024? This is what you hoped for. This is what you prayed for. This is what you voted for. So why are you questioning every decision he makes now that he's back in office? God didn't save his life so he could make mistakes. He knows what he's doing. Maybe it's time to shut the fuck up and let him cook. This has been a public service announcement paid for by the Dilly Meme team.
I love that. Maybe it's time to shut up and let him cook. So good. So good. Brian asks, anyone suspecting Virginia rigged the elections in Fairfax County? Listen, do I suspect every single time the Democrats win these days that they at least rigged election, at least partially? Yeah, 100%. Virginia going blue would not surprise me because Virginia tends to go, because Virginia is an off-year election. It's on an odd year. Virginia does tend to go the opposite of whoever's elected president. So in 2020, Biden came in 2021, Youngkin won. Republican, Virginia went red. 2024, they voted in Spanberger after Trump won. Before Youngkin was some blue guy when Trump was president. So it's not unheard of for Virginia to go blue when a Republican's president. What was different this time is that she won by so much and swept up the smaller elections. And that's where I think the fraud was, because she was going to win. She was always ahead. Winsome Sears, who's a nice lady, was just not a strong candidate for the Republicans. So they lost that. Republicans put up a terrible candidate. They got to, Republican, listen, I'm not a Republican, okay? I don't like Republicans. I don't like what they stand for. I vote Republican because I understand that I'm actually voting for MAGA, and I'm part of a reformation project for a political party, okay? That's what I'm part of. And so whenever I talk about Republicans voting Republicans, that's what I mean. We are changing the Republican Party so we can be proud of it one day. I'm proud of many Republicans who are in office. I'm just not proud of the party. And I don't want to be associated with it. But having said that, I just feel MAGA all the way. But having said that, the Republicans suck. Okay. And that hasn't changed. And so when the Republicans are operating outside of Trump, they still make terrible decisions. They still try to get their people up there. Sometimes they lose on purpose because they're still playing the old game, the uniparty game, one for you, one for me. They still do that. Trump's trying to end all that. And for the most part, he's done it. The Republican Party is mostly refined, except for at the top. The base of the Republican Party is now like 70 to 85% MAGA, and it's not going back. But we have a lot of hangers on because they have entrenched themselves in their local districts. We pay so much attention to national politics. We forget sometimes that we're also a nation of 300 million plus who there are so many local elections, and there are local tribalisms and a lot of people who will vote big time for president and really care about that. They won't care about their local election, and the local politicians know that, and so they'll be able to hang on for a long time because we're not paying attention. We don't get riled up enough. We'll go out and vote for Trump, but we won't vote for our mayor. We won't vote for our county, election seats. We won't vote for city councils or school councils. We won't do it. And so it's still permeated. The machine of the Republican Party is still permeating most local politics. And that just takes longer to weed out. It takes, Trump, we can vote in a president who can change laws, he can change policies, he can change, our relationship to foreign countries, and all that can change massively in just a couple years. And our country, in many ways, can change massively in a few years. But to fully change a party takes generations. And we're only halfway through the first generation of MAGA. So it's going to take a while. And until that happens, we're going to have crappy candidates still that are just destined to lose. So do I think Virginia's governor race was stolen? No. But do I think they stole lower seats so they could get more votes in the legislature and ram all this nonsense through? Yes, absolutely. And that matters. Just like with the House representatives, how, Republicans had won 220 seats, 220 to 215, when in reality, they probably had at least 10 seats stolen. It could be 230 to 205, which is a much bigger difference. In the Senate, I believe at least two seats were stolen in the Senate. And Michigan, I can't think of the other one off the top of my head, but it should be 55, 56 Republicans in the Senate. But it's not, because we don't pay as much attention to the more local elections, even though that was federal, but those are still state level. So the further down you go, the easier it is to manipulate the elections. Okay, let's keep moving on here. Senate Democrats say they've reached a deal with President Trump to fund the government and avoid a government shutdown. On the surface, this looks bad, but let me tell you what the deal is. The deal is that they've agreed to separate DHS from everything else. So there's 6 bills to fund the government through September. 5 of those are all going to go through no problem. The 6th one is for more funding for DHS, which is ICE and Department of Homeland Security. They're putting that one out separately. And so they're doing 2 weeks on that so they can debate. And the Democrats are trying to make a big win on ICE here. They're not going to get it because in the One Big Beautiful Bill, they funded ICE for the next 4 years. So there's going to be a couple. What the Republicans are trying to do is get even more money to ICE right now. We'll see. I think they're going to get like something very small, and they're going to go around declaring it a victory. And Trump's just going to roll his eyes and say, whatever. Because Trump doesn't want another government shutdown right now, because this is the year with the midterms coming up to make the economy soar. And we already did one shutdown. He's already got a lot of his stuff in place. He doesn't want another shutdown. And it makes sense economically. I mean, last year, so we were getting the economic numbers. Q3 was like 4.3% GDP growth, or actually I think it was 4.4. Q4, once it finally comes in, is expected to be well over 5%, which is massive. It'll be the highest in 20 years. The not counting the one time after COVID, like the one quarter after COVID when they opened everything back up, that was a fake growth because it just was stuff opening back up again. So this is real economic growth we're seeing. Trump is accomplishing it. And with the midterms coming up, as much as I'd love to see another shutdown, because I love what it forces them to compromise on. I love how it puts stuff in the spotlight. I love how it can force firings. It's just not the time for it. So this is what's going on with this. So it looks like we're going to avoid a shutdown, which is pretty crazy. And it also tells me that the Democrats really don't want this. They don't want to play this game right now because they could have held up everything and they're choosing not to. So that tells you the Democrats are weaker than they want to appear as well. So that's just going to be a big nothing burger is what's going to come out of that. All right. Tomorrow morning, we're getting the new Fed chair announced. Oh boy, this is going to affect markets. Because depending on who he picks, which right now it looks like Warsh, who I've not researched enough, but I'm just going to trust Trump. He's been spending a lot of time figuring this out. This has been months in the making. So whoever the Fed chair is, though, it's going to be somebody who's going to lower interest rates, which if they start lowering interest rates quickly, the economy is going to run hot in a good way. Inflation-free, running hot. So that's going to be very interesting. I believe Powell is in there until May or June, and then he's gone. So the question will be is if the Republicans will line up behind this person and actually pass through the nomination. We'll see. We can hope. Vince asking, can they have a recall election in Virginia? I mean, I'm sure they can, but I don't know what their rules are. They might make it extremely difficult. Okay, let's keep moving. Some good news. Ted Cruz, who I was really hard on the other night because, you know, Ted Cruz is kind of a shyster. Kind of. He is a shyster. He's completely untrustworthy. But as I've told you guys, he will always do the right thing when it comes to voting because he's got to play the role of the hardcore conservative. Now he's demanding Senate Republicans nuke the filibuster so the SAVE Act can be passed with 50 votes and J.D. Vance. Now, that's kind of big news because Chuck Grassley, who I also don't like, just signed on to this. This is gaining a lot of momentum in the Senate. If the Republicans, this tells me Trump is working hard behind the scenes. If they pass this SAVE Act, it's going to fundamentally change our elections going forward in good ways. We talked about this the other night, but it won't be 100% better. It'll be 95% better, which is more than enough for what we need. But Cruz, I think we ought to put on Senate floor, ought to use every bit of leverage, pressure Democrats, force them to do a talking filibuster, make them talk till they collapse. So it's not fully nuking the filibuster, which is still not what we want. We want the filibuster completely eliminated. But he's going to make them actually debate it. So it's something, because if you're really doing a filibuster, there's rules on how much you can talk. So you can get up there, filibuster, you can talk straight for 50 hours. But once you're done, your time's up. And then it goes to the next person. And then it eventually runs out. You only get one go at it, each person. So a real filibuster actually can have an ending versus the zombie filibuster, which is where they just vote on it even without the debates. So it's a step in the right direction. We got to say hope it keeps going. But look at this. House Republicans are doubling down. So they're revisiting the SAVE Act and they're going to make it even tighter. This will pass the House. If it passes the House, then what we got to do is get it to the Senate, and they're going to have to nuke the filibuster to pass it. So let's just hope they can get there. But listen to this. Photo ID to vote, citizenship verification to register. I love that. Requires states use paper ballots for federal elections. So this will immediately overturn Virginia's new law. Voter roll maintenance requirements, again, will overturn anything Virginia's doing. Requires mail-in ballots to be received on election day. I wish it would limit mail-in ballots even more, but at least it's keeping all the counting on election day. So this means no more allowing them to trickle in afterwards. Bans ballot harvesting nationwide. Amazing. Bans ranked choice voting. That's only in a few states, but where it is, it always helps Democrats. Bans universal vote by mail, so they will have much more restrictions on mail-in voting. And partisan voter initiatives. Now, I don't know what this means. I don't know what the language is going to be on this, but it's interesting and probably very good. So this is great. I'm glad to see Republicans are finally starting to do something again. We'll see how it ends up. Cuba. Trump signed executive order today declaring national emergency regarding Cuba, and Trump had this to say about it today. Make sure it's on. Okay.
Off Cuba? I don't know. The word choke off is awfully tough. Cuba is a failing nation, and you have to feel badly for Cuba. They've treated people very badly. We have a lot of Cuban Americans who really were treated very badly, and they'd probably like to go back. And no, I'm not trying to, but it looks like it's something that's just not going to be able to survive. I think Cuba will not be able to survive.
What's your opinion about the UK getting involved?
Thank you for your note.
So is Cuba next? It looks like we're preparing for something big with Cuba, but we're also preparing for something with Iran. Rubio is, as the people of Iran continue to fight for their basic rights, Rubio took action this week to revoke the privilege of Iranian senior officials and their family members to be in the United States. So they're not letting Iranians in. We have all of our ships over by Iran now. We're basically, now they're not an ocean-based nation, so we're not going to be able to barricade them the way we did with Venezuela. But I guarantee you the pressure's mounting up. And to me, it looks like, because Trump doesn't want boots on the ground. So everybody just take a chill pill. That's not going to happen. But is Trump planning another kind of an operation like what we did in Venezuela? I don't know, but it sure looks like he's threatening it and wants them to be thinking about it. I don't know if you guys have seen the story that's been coming out about Iran, but apparently they massacred 32,000 protesters when the internet went out. And so, it's coming out of Iran, so who knows how accurate that is. But that is the number floating around out there now, is that the regime killed 32,000 of their own people. So it's bad over there, and the Trump administration's not okay with it. So whatever's happening, they're building up for some kind of deal or intervention, which is pretty crazy. So, I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. I completely trust this administration to be smart. I don't think we're going to get in a long, elongated war, anything like that. But this is going to be another thing where the influencer sphere, the libertarians, they all go crazy, and we're going to have a whole nother week or two of Trump's actually a warmonger. He's a neocon and he's run by Israel. So we're going to just have to play that game again. We're spinning that wheel again. Get ready to spin the crazy Trump wheel. It is what it is. You guys know how the game's played at this point though, but I'm not worried about it, but it is interesting. We got to watch how this goes. And there's some other stuff going on with Trump talking to Russia, and hopefully that ends soon. But also, I don't know if you guys saw it. I didn't get to cover it much, but Rubio was awesome in his hearings the other day. So there's so much going on. I just can't cover it all. But anyways, guys, that's I'm going to finish up on that tonight. I'm actually tired. I'm sorry. Forgive me, but don't have the gusto I've had the last few nights. But it's been a long week. This the Minnesota thing seems like it's coming to a close, but again, we're winning. And the main thing tonight, guys, I just want you to walk away with is don't let anybody fall into the trap that there's moderate Democrats. This is based on what we saw in Virginia. It's literally, life and death of our country keeping this party out. It's not disagreements. It's not small policy differences. It's life or death for our country. Because if Virginia, what happening there, if that's what happened to our nation at the top, which is, I guarantee you, is what Kamala had planned, we're not a country anymore. We're not American anymore. I'll say it that way. So just keep, I give you permission if you have a friend who doesn't want to vote in the midterms, because they're mad at Trump or something, I give you permission to punch them in the face. Just say that. You have my permission. You could say, Ace told me. He said I could do it, dude. So I'm going to punch you in the face. And then what are they going to say? What are they going to say that? Virginia has no recall process, more of a trial in the judiciary. Interesting. Vince, your son broke up with his girlfriend. She tried to say we can have discussion and drop it. He told her no, because how do we raise kids? Wow. How long were they together? A breakup always hurts, but how old is he? How long were they together? I'm sure it's not as big a deal as it feels. I went through some bad breakups, and now I barely remember them. They have an actual court trial in Virginia for a recall without people voting. Well, good luck with that then. They got pretty lefty judges over there. Iranian government posting memes of killing sailors with caskets floating. Oh my God, that's horrible. 2 hours ago, Iran threatened to blow U.S. link. Well, good luck with that, but still, they're antagonizing. Okay. Rubio Atolla coming. 2020 truth coming out in Georgia. I know. I covered that last night. Tulsi Gabbard there. There's a lot of people speculating on what that means. But yeah, we knew the Venezuela stuff was about the elections. Actually, let me bring up a really good post on this I saw today. Because this election stuff does matter. It really does. So Let me see here. Just 1 second, guys. I want to pull this up. Oh, come on. Man, this guy posts a lot. I want to find the right one. I know this is riveting television. I'm sure you guys just love seeing all this happen. But this was really good. I don't know why I didn't share it. Maybe I did share it. That would be easier on mine because I think okay, I think it'd be easier to find it on mine. Okay, let me try this real quick. I want you guys to see. Now I've built it up so much, you guys are going to be like, that's it? Oh, here it is. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, Brian Cates wrote this today. Remember when I started saying about 3 weeks ago, by the end of March, a lot of these MAGA, blackpilling, gaslighting accounts on here will have so utterly and completely and totally exposed themselves, all their carefully crafted influence will be gone. We're a little ahead where I thought we'd be right now. I didn't expect this kind of thing till mid-February. Trump and Tulsi must be closer to that 2020 election theft burn bag presentation to the country than I thought. So, and here's the footage I showed you guys last night of them pulling bags out of Fulton County, where Tulsi Gabbard is, raiding it. So Brian Cates, excellent reporter, very MAGA, gets a lot of good behind-the-scenes stuff right. So, if he knows something, there's a good chance something's coming. So get excited, because if the 2020, I'm telling you right now, if they prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the 2020 election was stolen and it gets out there, that's the other thing. The media is going to bury that, but they need to get it out there. If they could prove that, that will change a lot of votes back, because there's a lot of people who, when they're mad at Trump, they go back to thinking he lied about 2020 and stuff like that. So pretty crazy, pretty dumb. Anyways. All right, guys. Love you. Have a great night. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way out. Let's end in a prayer. And then just everybody have a great weekend. I might see you. I might not. It's supposed to snow here on Saturday, so we'll see if I have power. But all right, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody here. Thank you for their support, Lord. And God, just don't let us be like Virginia. That's what I'm praying right now. That you saved us from it once. I'm praying you save us from it always. Don't let the nation go that way. And also wake people up. Wake people up to see what's happening and to see how corrupt and taken over the Democratic Party really is. Even good Democrats people who consider themselves Democrat who are good people, I pray you wake them up, because we need that. The more we can all come together, the better our country will be. So we pray protection, Lord, and wisdom for President Trump. Pray for peace, prosperity, and justice to come to our nation, Lord, like never before. And Lord, just bless everybody watching here tonight. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. All right, guys. Love you. Have a blessed night, and I'll see you all soon. Good night.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts.